Welcome back once again to the Imaginary Gallery. It is TJ, your host, and we're in the Narcissist Bag of Tricks discussing games and roles that people play, including our wonderful Cluster B monsters. Now, I'm referencing, again, John Powell's book, which is called Why Am I Afraid to Tell You Who I Am? The next one to cover on the list, the Conformist. The game that the Conformist plays would be called Peace at Any Price. And the price is surrender of all of your individuality to others. Usually it begins with domineering authority and guilt feelings. Conformists will not or cannot risk the non-acceptance of others. They are often praised for their willingness to go along with anything, but they pay a high price in repressed emotions for the pittances of praise that they receive. Their unwillingness to disagree with the popular or established fashionable option renders them an anonymity to others. They usually develop some kind of psychosomatic symptoms because their unconscious mind eventually becomes overloaded with all that they have had to repress in order to be the good girl, the good guy, whatever, who goes along with everything. Now, I've happened to know some love bombers who play this particular game. It's not really who they are, it's not really what they're about, but they play this game just to try to win you in their love bombing game. Next on our list would be the Dominator. This game many times is characterized, like most people who exaggerate their importance or wisdom, by an exaggerated desire to control the lives of other people, as well as these people's thought processes. These dominators are bothered by unconscious feelings of inadequacy. It's strange that very often such people are so determined to feel adequate that this distracts them from the fact that they're being domineering to other people. And if questioned, they would usually explain their domination behavior as it's necessary, it's reasonable, or can be justified. Dominators are very often troubled by feelings of hostility. These feelings, which they repress, find expression in selfishness and thoughtlessness in dealing with those that they are supposed to love. Now, this brings a memory, not from someone I was supposed to be loved by, but there was a particular boss who was at the company I was with, and I was awarded a large profile award at the company I worked for, where they give you like $500 and they recognize you and whatever. Well, I was at the dinner for that event, and I happened to be wearing a jacket. It wasn't even required to be formal, but I had a nice jacket on. When they were about to take our picture, this boss walked up and said, "Button your coat! Button your coat!" And I can't help but think the Dominator. Like the picture will even show the coat if it's buttoned or not, but it just seemed inappropriate and retarded, but I just was, oh, okay, and I did it. Next on the list, the Loner. There's another escape pattern, or game. It's the isolation game. Loners will shut themselves away from other people. They'll live alone. They'll try to convince themselves that they like it this way, and by entering this kind of solitary confinement, they are successful in evading the most difficult challenges of human life and society. Loners will assume the attitude of smugness. They smirk at organizations, laugh at the poor joiners whom they look upon with a pretended attitude of superiority. They keep telling themselves that they are above all of that nonsense. Neurotics are torn between their inner need to push toward and pull away from other people. Loners are neurotics who opt in favor of pulling away from people. They retreat, and because they cannot relate very easily with others, they play this game to avoid failures in their human being relationships. The ultimate effects are conditioned by what is inside of loners, the reasons for their withdrawal tendencies. If it's hostility that is predominant, it could eventually turn into violence, as with Lee Harvey Oswald, which is a lie and wrong, so we'll strike that from the record. If it's anxiety, it could result in compulsive, obsessive, neurotic habits, like whoosh or washing your hands over and over. If it's paranoia, it will deepen the gulf between themselves and the rest of humanity. The escapist pattern always ends in some kind of lonely tragedy. Next, the Ponce de Leon, which is a game of people who are aging and just cannot adjust to this fact. Many times, middle-aged people feel that they are losing their physical attractiveness. They've become bald, wrinkles have developed around their neck. All of these symbolize declining prestige among the opposite or same sex. So to compensate for this deterioration of their age, those who have never developed as a true, real person and who've never developed deeper emotional ties with other people usually begin looking for a young lover. In addition to the physical evidence which shows in the mirror, these people also compensate for an emotional slump, which is evidenced by a loss of ambition, by showing fatigue, and more frequent fits of depression. Now, biologically, our author says this can be due to insufficient hormone production. Now, the tragedy of this Ponce de Leon game is that these people have suffered emotional arrest and have never really learned to relate meaningfully to other persons. They have very little left for consolation in middle age. They have prized their sex appeal and fear that it's waning. Sadly, they try to hide their double chin, varicose veins, and wrinkles, gray hair, and so on. They keep trying to think and act like they're young. Sex appeal has never been and could never be the key to the finer things in life. It certainly does not sustain us in the process of aging. The next game on the list would be one I've come into contact with before, with more than one cluster B monster. It's called the Procrastinator. The manana game attempts to evade reality by postponing things that should be done here and now. These types of people have to deceive themselves by unrealistic assurances such as, I'll cut down on my smoking as soon as I go on vacation, or I'll start to exercise again once the weather gets nicer, or I'll begin going to church again once I've settled down with my family and children. Escaping into vague and unrealistic tomorrow is only one of the many varieties of evasion of reality that we commonly seek. I knew one of these people that was a hairdresser, and I needed a haircut. And I remember living with this creature and realizing, oh dear, this hair is getting long, I need to cut it. Like on a Wednesday, I'd say, I need a haircut. Well, I'd be told, oh, I'll do it this weekend. So I'd think, oh, okay. So I'd be relaxed and think, okay. And each morning when I'd get ready for work and see that long hair in the way, I'd think, oh, it'll be gone this weekend. I'll deal with it a few more days. So I would. And then finally it became Friday. And then I'd wake up Saturday and I'd say, okay, I'm ready for my haircut. I said I would do it this weekend. Well, it is the weekend. It was Saturday, so I thought, well, okay, there's still Sunday. Well, then Sunday would come around and relaxation would be occurring of some kind. I'd be like, well, how about that haircut? Oh, I told you I would do it this weekend. I think, well, again, this is the weekend. Well, hairdressers many times don't work Mondays. So this was stretched on to another day, because I figured this weekend, oh, that means by Monday, I'll be clean shaven and done. Well, not the case. So then Sunday comes and goes, and I'm like, ugh. So finally Monday comes, If I'm lucky, I'd get it done, but many times it would be pushed off again. And finally, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday of the next week. But anyway, the last one I'll be covering is one that I've known several of in real life. It seems to be a permanent game in some of these people's lives. It's the sex bomb and predatory male. Barring the sick condition of the nymphomaniac who is obsessed with sex, most ladies who play the sex bomb game don't do it because they really enjoy genital sexuality or because they're highly sexed. Rather, it's because they feel they have nothing else to offer but a provocative, hot body. They want male attention, and they want to be popular. The ruse of this game usually pays off. Show off the teat, like the narcopath whore, she does that all the time, but the emotionally arrested males it attracts are usually very regrettable conquests. Besides, this sad motive of reaching out for affection and attention, sometimes the sex bomb is trying to reject her parents or to spite them. The predatory male is usually an ego hunter, looking for some new trophy or conquest. His inferiority feelings are very deep, and he wants to compensate for them by trying to make conquest of the opposite or same sex. Sometimes successful ladies' men are simply neurotics who are industriously engaged in an attempt to cover up their personal insecurity. They are more to be pitied than censored. Now, the sadness of both sex bomb and predatory male is that they're seeking some kind of human intimacy or nearness, because personal closeness in real life takes a long time and demands much honesty and gut-level communication, and because these people feel totally inadequate to pay this price of true personal intimacy, they substitute physical for personal intimacy. They're not equipped, they feel, to do any better. People are not attracted to the useless side of life. And Alfred Adler, once again as mentioned, says in his book, What Life Should Mean to You, unless they fear that they will be defeated if they remain on the useful side, those who play this game are usually so emotionally underdeveloped that they're unable to confer their love lastingly on anybody, if indeed they are even capable of love at all.
Hey, you on the street there, did I just hear you ask?
If I was a man or a woman. Is that what you said? No, come here! Is that what you said?
I am a man.
And a woman trapped in a transgender's body.
So, get it right and get over it! Ah! I swear I'm so sick of these people who are jealous of me, because I am so beautiful. No one has my beauty. Nobody has my heels. Ow! Oh.
I'm a first-class sex pot. I'm in demand.
I am the narcopath, don't you forget it. And you ain't!
Well, I know you had a lot of questions about Uncle Walter. Remember that? I got so sick of hearing you asking me about Uncle Walter, because it's none of your goddamn business. So fine, I'm giving confessions. First off, he ain't my uncle. Second off, we're not even blood related. I had to come up with some kind of story to explain why I was spending so much time with another guy when you and I were dating. Oh, now I know that he would be flirtatious with me, and I just told you, well, that's just how he is. He talks to everyone like that. You're paranoid. You need to get over it. He is my uncle, for God's sake. And that got you quiet. Now you know the truth. Those comments he made about my teats and how good they looked one particular afternoon, Well, that's because when you were gone in the bathroom, he was suckling on him like a pig. So, there you go. How do you like that for a confession? Now, I'm ready for some time off. I am the narcissist. Just say yes to Monarch.
MK Ultra.
Mind control. You'll make your day.